Good morning and welcome. We're going to do area of a circle today. We just got done doing circumference, which is the perimeters. That's the distance around a circle. Now we're going to see how much fills it up. So just like we looked to start at rectangles with circumference, we're going to look at rectangles with area. So if I find the rectangle, the area of a rectangle is the length times the width. So 4 times 3 is 12. All right, and this now that we're doing area, we're doing units squared or square units. The next one will be square feet or feet squared. Take a second. So you're going to do length area equals length times width. Take a second and find that area. Okay, so I'm doing 50 times 25. So you can use a calculator the whole time without a doubt. So that is equal to 1,250. And this one is, you could write it as feet squared or square feet. And I use some abbreviations. Okay. So what we're doing, we're finding areas. We're finding the square units on the inside of a figure. That's area. Okay. So when do we find circumference? If we're looking at the border, all right, or the distance a bike can travel, the amount of road to be a roundabout, how much paint will cover a wall, the grass seed for a lawn, how much soil to fill a garden, to cover shade, all that stuff is going to be area. Okay, so areas that covering the inside, circumference and perimeter is going around the outside. Okay, so at this time, if you haven't watched the video on Google Classroom, but where the area formula comes from a circle, it's very interesting, at least to me. So I'd say go watch that now. But here is our area formula. Is area equals pi r squared, right? And there's this little saying down here we've used. Cherry pie is delicious. C equals pi d. That is good for circumference. But apple pie r2, apple pi r area equals pi r squared is it's a good way to remember our formulas there. Once you use them a couple times, you'll start remembering. So how do we do this? Similar to the way we did the circumference. First, we'll start off by writing the formula. Okay. So if I see now we're looking for the radius compared to the diameter, which we did in circumference. The radius is 5 feet, so I'm getting pi times 5 squared. Okay, so I'm going to calculate 5 squared. What is 5 squared? Well, 5 squared is equal to 5 times 5, not 5 times 2. So what I got here is 25 pi, right? That's my exact area, or area in terms of pi. And if I want to put units, that would be feet squared. Okay. I could multiply that out to get 78.5398. That goes on forever there. Okay, so I'll use that pi button. And then if I round to the nearest tenth, that's the first decimal place. So that 3 leaves that 5 alone. So we could say that is 78.5 feet squared. Okay. So write down the formula, find the radius, insert it in, and then square it first because we're using order of operations. So it says right here, round to the nearest hundredth. That means I'm using the pi button and then rounding. So find the area of that one. So formula first, pi r squared. Okay, the radius, there, show me a radius, is 8. 8 squared is 64, so I have 64 pi. Now I go to my calculator, 64 times pi. All right, the area equals 201.06 to the nearest hundredth, so 0.619. Nearest hundredth is that one. So the area is equal to 201.06. What are my units? This one is inches. So that is inches squared. Area units are always squared. Perimeter is always a linear unit, so it would just be inches. Okay. Find the area of the circle. If I notice here now, is that a radius? No. What is the radius then? Well, if I look at that, if the diameter is 10, the radius is 5. So there is pi r squared is our formula. the radius is 5, so area is equal to pi times 5 squared. 5 times 5 is 25. So you'll see that some of these come up a lot, like 25 pi is up there as well. So area is equal to 78.5398, nearest tenth, so that is 78.5. This one is yards, so that is yards squared. All right. So again, I'm looking at this one. This is a semicircle. So just like we did with circumference, we have a semicircle. How would we find the area if it's only half of the circle? Well, we will divide it by 2. So first, as I look, even though that's half a circle, that's not a radius. It's still going all the way across that circle. So that's the diameter is 16. The radius is just halfway across. The radius is 8. So I'll start with my formula. Pi r squared. The radius is 8. So I have 64 pi, right? 64 pi, we already used this one as well, was 201.0619. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that answer. It's half a circle, so I'm going to divide that answer by 2. So that's 100.53. 100.53 to the nearest tenth of a square. So our area is equal to 100.5. This is inches squared. Okay, great. So we're keep on rolling here to this composite figure. So this figure is a half circle, and a rectangle. Okay, so here we go. Let's do 2 half circles equals 1 circle. So that 6 feet goes all the way from one side of the circle to the other side of the circle. So that's the diameter is 6 feet. The radius is 3 feet. So area equals pi r squared. Area equals pi times 3 squared, or area is equal to 9 pi. 9 pi. All right, so that I'm putting into the calculator, 9 pi. One of those things you can always remember, pi is just a little bit above 3. So if you hit the wrong, get a number that's way different than a little above 27, you're doing something wrong. So there is, let's see, round to the nearest tenth. So that will round to 28.3. So we just did the 2 ends, the 2 semicircles. Now I'm going to do the middle. That is length times width. So area equals length times width. 6 times 12 is equal to 72. So I have 28.3 and 72. If I add them together, my total area is equal to 100.3. What is that? Feet. Always got to put the units. Feet squared, or square feet. Okay. So far, so good. We're going to do these first 3 practices. All right. So each time I want you to do it, then I'll show you the answer. So first, I want you to find number 1, and you're going to put both in terms of pi and round to the nearest hundred. So do that now. All right. for both of these, area equals pi r squared. The radius is 192, so pi times 192 squared. 192 squared is 36,864. Wow, it's a big circle. So 36,864 pi yard squared. That's in terms of pi. Then I multiply that answer times pi. I'd get 100,206. 100,206 to the nearest hundredth, 0.74 yards squared. Good. All right. A circle with diameter. Watch out for diameter. Figure that one out now. So if our diameter is 8.6, our radius is half of that, or 4.3. Area equals pi times 4.3 squared. So 4.3 squared is approximately 18.49. So in terms of pi, it's 18.49 pi inches squared. I'll do 18.49 times pi. You get 58.088. So 58.088 is 0.09 inches squared. There we go with number 2. Number 3, watch there, semicircle. It gives us the radius. So find it, then divide by 2. Okay? Do it now. All right, pi times 6 squared. 36 pi is our answer. Okay? I can divide by 2 now. And I do that because 36 divided by 2 is easier. I can just get 18 pi. 18 pi. Now I can put 18 pi into my calculator, and I find that easier to do, although if you have a calculator, it doesn't much matter. So our area is 56.54, and that is feet. So feet squared. Okay, and just to highlight one thing, because I divided by 2 because that is a semicircle, that is half a circle. Okay, hopefully area is not a huge deal for you. Check this out. We're going to practice more on Monday because tomorrow there is no work. So if you have questions, let me know.